Summer's parents, Candace and Dawn Wells, appeared on a Thursday episode of Dr. Phil, where they were questioned by behavior analysts and body language expert Scott Rouse and Greg Hartley. The first sign that stood out was guilty language. Dr. Phil said he observed Dawn contradict himself several times, saying no and yes in the same sentence, while stammering and stuttering all over the place. Hartley added, "For me, you'll notice his eyes are dropping down to his left. He's having kind of an internal conversation about how do I answer this very complicated question. And I think he edits as he speaks, and never finishes a sentence." Jumping in, Dr. Phil said it's very clear to me that Dawn was holding something back, something he has knowledge of regarding Summer's disappearance. The next sign is fading facts. Something that I noticed is when they asked Candace what should happen to the person that took Summer. Before answering, Candace closed her eyes and paused. The expert said this was a classic example of blocking or escaping. The big sign for me was when Candace made a shocking exit. She appeared to become visibly upset every time the Cornbread Mafia was mentioned. While Dawn attempted to answer the question, insisting he's heard of gang activity in their neighborhood, Candace turned to him and said, "Get these wires off of me." Dawn reacted by patting her on the back and saying these are tough questions, but Candace said, "No, I'm being interrogated again, and I don't want to do this." Candace struggled to take off her microphone and revealed she wanted out and to go home. It was then she got up and left the room as her husband remained sitting. Rouse described her actions as insulating and running. He added, "She insulates when she starts crying, so we can't get to her. In other words, psychologically we can't speak to her, and we see the emotion as soon as I say Cornbread Mafia." Something that many are still talking about is the fact that Summer has a missing aunt. She disappeared without a trace. Her car was found 30 miles from her house, in a parking lot. From the very beginning of this case, we have been pointing out the conflicting details. Dawn was quizzed on Dr. Phil as to whether he has any doubts about Candace's recollection of events leading up to Summer's disappearance. "No, not the way it played out," Dawn Wells responded. "We have seen lots of other conflicting details, and some timeline changes, like when Dawn arrived home from work that day. It seems like Candace was blocking investigators. She was basically dissociating herself from what was going on." Characterizing Candace's behavior, Rouse said, "There's a lot going on here. She's not sure what she should say. Everything she's going says I'm unsure and shouldn't be saying this." The last chilling sign that I want to talk about is the abduction claim. Dawn has previously said that the family believes she was abducted, despite officials saying there is no evidence to support his claims. He told WVLT, "Well, I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got somewhere down here, because our neighbor heard us scream." Summer's mom, Candace Bly, appeared to share Donald's theory, telling Fox 8, "She feels in my heart that somebody has come up here and took her, has lured her away from here." She added, "Whoever has my daughter, I pray they haven't harmed her, they and bring her back to us safe and sound."